Michael Lohscheller, Nikola CEO, welcome to San Francisco. Welcome to the Bloomberg NEF conference. I'm curious kind of what the conversation's going to be about. 2022, a tough year for Nikola. 2023, a chance to reset. What are you going to be putting out as your message to kind of the industry bigwigs that are in attendance?
Right, so key message from our side will be we have the trucks on the one side, zero-emission trucks. We started last year with the launch of the battery electric truck.
Right.
Launched this year the fuel cell truck, and we want to make sure that also the energy infrastructure is there. So in a way, we want to make sure we have an integrated solution. You can call it, we want to put the chicken and the egg together.
A big focus of Bloomberg New Energy Finance is research around batteries. And Nikola's interesting, multiple sources of cell supply, but an acquisition of Romeo. How has that gone? You know, how do you feel about your supply going into 2023?
Very important decision for us to acquire Romeo Power, because obviously the battery is a very important component of the truck. And I think the vertical integration is so important. Now we can control the battery, optimize it, improve it. We also will move from Cyprus to Coolidge so that everything is together at our state-of-the-art facility. So I think it's a big benefit. And of course, there's a lot to do we can on the battery and improve it further.
I want to get to the kind of hydrogen infrastructure, but battery electric's where you started. You know, the guidance was just short of 300 deliveries on the battery electric truck in 2022. Romeo was an interesting situation because before you bought them, they were offering these kind of supply of cells packs at a discount. Then you acquired them and brought them in. How have the economics of that transaction worked out? Is it the sort of most prudent financial decision to just go out and buy your own cell supply rather than do deals with third parties?
First of all, it was important for us to do the vertical integration. It's much better that we have it in our hands, and obviously will improve the cost position going forward, right? Instead of having negotiations with suppliers and have lots of things. So to own the battery is really important for us and makes a lot of sense. I feel very good about that.
I've been covering Nikola since early 2020, mid 2020, and a part of the story that gets discussed less is you're not just planning to make a hydrogen fuel cell semi-truck. You're planning to build out the infrastructure to fuel the trucks, literally hydrogen supply. What is the plan presently for that?
And that's a very important point. So last week we actually announced all our hydrogen energy-related things, and we umbrella everything under the name of HYLA. So I think that's very important to have a brand for our hydrogen energy activities. And what we want to do at Nikola is to offer the truck, so the fuel cell truck, but every fuel cell truck, of course, needs hydrogen, and the customers are expecting that we offer both. And I think bringing these things together is really important. And at the end of the day, I'm sure the customer will value that a lot.
So what's interesting, the launch of the FCEV this year in the United States, and then Europe 2024, is that right?
Beginning of 2024. We always launch in the US first because here's where our headquarters is, the engineers are here, and then we go to Europe like 6-9 months later.
So you joined Nikola in March of 2022, first as president, and then you became CEO towards the end of last year, November. What I find fascinating is your most recent order news, GP Joule, 100 FCEVs in Europe, 2024, 30 of them in 2024. Even before you joined the company, Nikola doesn't have the best track record of meeting its self-imposed deadlines. Are you going to meet these initial orders? Is it realistic for you to ship 30 FCEVs in Europe in 2024?
So I think Nikola has a very powerful strategy. We produce locally in the US, but also in Germany. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think to do business on both continents is so important because the potential here and in Europe is enormous. So in Europe, we have a facility in Ulm, in Germany, which is a joint venture with Iveco. And of course, the interest in Europe is huge. So I think our strategy to be successful in both continents will pay off.
I guess my question is, how confident are you in the strategy that you're actually able to deliver both the BEV and the FCEV trucks in the volumes that you've outlined?
Well, let's look at the facts. I mean, we said last year we will launch the BEV, so we did this. We ramped up production. I think it's going really well. We improve every day. And then we bring the fuel cell truck. In Europe, we have a benefit. We have an important partner with Iveco on the manufacturing side, but also on the distribution side. So I feel very good about what is in our control. And it's good to have partners like Iveco in Europe.
Respectfully, look at your CV. You're an old school automotive guy. Is that fair?
I would say I've done a lot of transformation with legacy OEM companies,
right,
but led them to electrification, which sometimes obviously is harder than to set up things from scratch.
It's interesting because like initially the kind of fanfare around Nikola was around its technology, and then the reality set in about supply chain constraints out of your hands. Have those things improved? I mean, is Nikola basically able to do the basic manufacturing now with more freedom than it did in 2022?
Absolutely. I think on the manufacturing side, we make great progress. And of course, I mean, where's our key asset? We integrate things and then focus in-house on things which really matter. And for example, the software and the controls, the whole integration is really important. That is in our hands, and I think this is really important for our customers.
Two mechanical questions. The first, $300 million of cash approximately was left at the end of the third quarter of 2022, but you also have that equity line of credit. Do you feel good about how much cash you've got at your disposal to go into 2023?
So we always say we want to have cash for the next 12 months at the end of every quarter, which is between $700 and $800 million US dollars, including everything.
Right.
I think this is the right way to approach this, and this is a good principle going forward.
You might be less known to a broader audience as the CEO of Nikola. I know that you know Stephen Gursky very well, right? You had overlap in your previous time in Europe, General Motors connection. Was it a hard sell for Stephen Gursky to say, come on board, Michael, come and work with me at Nikola? I mean, how much was your joining about him and your experience of working with him?
No, for me, joining Nikola was a very easy decision because I focus on products. I think the products and the technology will do the explanation. And I think Nikola's products are outstanding. I mean, look at the BEV truck. I mean, we have a range of up to 330 miles. I mean, this is best in class. I'm very excited about the fuel cell truck. So I'm a big believer that products and results, they will do the talk. And Steve didn't have to convince me a lot, to be honest.